Hello everybody, just getting things set up here. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This little furry guy is Apollo. He seemed interested in joining in and saying hello. We're going to be taking a look today at Libra, Sun, Rising, and Moon. And what a great opportunity to be with you today. A lot of energy coming through in dreams today, and in particular, something of manifestation, which we'll talk about in just a moment. So again, this is a monthly forecast. It will help you with the next month and a half. And I always like to begin with those channeled messages, which come from dreams and meditations. I'd love to keep Apollo up here the whole time, but I'm going to let him sit down, and so that we can all focus. He'll do a little bit of digging in his bed and we'll get started here. So this morning I had a lot of different dreams coming through, helping me really kind of connect the dots and see what the energy was. If you happen to be watching me live, happy end of Mercury retrograde. I can already feel the shift energetically, and I'm kind of happy that that's done with. It was a pretty good retrograde, but retrogrades create challenges, and I'm happy that those are gone now. So the spider came through reminding us to focus on really kind of keeping things together, cleaning things up. I want to talk a little bit about focusing on one ace, your magnum opus. There is a window that seems to be opening, but there's a timeline with it, so we'll talk about that. And then just kind of tightening up or firming up security and boundaries. Starting off with the first piece, the spider. There's different decks that I have that will have the spider on the Wheel of Fortune or the Ten of Pentacles. And even if you look at the wheel itself, it reminds me just a little bit like a spider web. So what I like about a spider in dreams, even though it's not always the most fun totem to come through if you're not a big fan of arachnids, but here's what's good about spiders. First of all, they're captivating, they get your attention, but they also have the ability to pull things in. They are magnetic. That's what the whole web metaphor is about. It's getting what it wants. I also appreciate and often talk about the spider's ability every day to cut cords, basically their spider web, and clear it out so that they can continue to attract things. So they understand the importance of constantly looking at what's working and not working, and they just cut out the things that aren't working. And of course, because they pick up on frequencies, vibrations, they're tuned in intuitively. So I love that about them as well. Now, this particular spider that I saw reminded me of Charlotte's Web. And in Charlotte's Web, the whole story, she's kind of creating her magnum opus. And Wilbur, that was his name, right? He keeps wondering what this is. And of course, it's the next generation of spiders. And they kind of create these almost little parachutes and go in their own directions, and a few stick around with Wilbur. But whenever I see an ace, it's kind of like an egg or a seed or an opportunity or potential. And for many of you, this is asking you, what is your magnum opus? For each of us, it's different. It could be personal development, overcoming something that you've really needed to sort of like see growth on. For some of you, it could be a business. It could be a family. You might be starting a family like Charlotte was. Each one of us, it could be a legacy too, because hers was one and the same, since spiders, usually their children outlive them. So she was kind of like just putting that into the next generation. So pick an ace that really has meaning to you, not just something that puts zeros and commas in the bank account, but something that's truly feeling like this is why I'm getting up every day. This is why I feel like it's important to do what I'm doing. Okay. And it can be separate from work, by the way. This is just something where you see and feel a connection, and again, it kind of like makes you feel that this is worth it. All right. This was very specific, and I felt the urgency and well, how would you say it? It's almost like the siren in the background, but like I felt this call. I need to go. I need to do this. So it was the last train, kind of like a metro train, not an old-fashioned one, or like the underground in London. So, but even there, sometimes there are trains where it's like the last one for the day. And I felt like I was like one half minute too late. The doors were starting to close, and someone just happened to put their hand out for a second, and I jumped in. And I thought, ooh, barely got in there. So there's a window of opportunity that's still something within reach, but it could require just a little bit of movement, energetic movement, a little bit of a sprint. You might have to push, but you can do it. If you don't, I chose the Eight of Cups on purpose. It'll come around again, but you don't know exactly when it's going to come around again. So better to take advantage of it this time. And it felt like it was time. And I was thinking, why didn't I just like move 1 minute sooner, do this one more, just get on it. So that's my kind of lovely, gentle nudge to you is it feels like you've waited long enough for something. It's the right time to make the move in a new direction. Don't miss that connecting flight or that connecting train. There's something here that's still within reach, okay? And also, it kind of connects to an old song from, it was an old movie with Meryl Streep, Heartburn, but it was called Itsy Bitsy, no, it was Coming Around Again, but it was to that tune of the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Carly Simon did it. And I was thinking about this too as I was putting it all together. I'm like, of course it's coming through with the spider, and I saw that in the dream. So it's time, okay? It's time to make a shift or a move. Don't fall asleep and miss this opportunity. You'll be able to manifest something else, but I really felt good about this. So let's push through and see what can happen, okay? The last one was also very specific, so I'm going to talk about it here. So I saw someone that would be like the character in the Seven of Swords, looking for an opportunity. This person was kind of looking for a place where they could take something, whether it was a resource or a product or money or an idea. And they were looking at cars, they were looking at doors, they were looking for an opening. So what you want to do is just make it harder for someone like the Seven of Swords to pick you. So every little thing that you can do to dissuade them or waste their time, they're going to move on to someone or something where there's an easier passageway, okay? Now, it has a larger and broader perspective for all of us, which is sometimes people are testing your boundaries. And so the Seven of Swords is kind of like a person that's tiptoeing and dancing around in the background to see, are they paying attention, or how about this? So when it comes to relationships or kids or anyone in your life and they're testing your boundaries, you want to be firm on what's acceptable, what's unacceptable. And sometimes with friends and family, it can even just be encroaching on your rest time, or, trying to get a little bit more without giving you what you deserve, all of that. So stand up for yourself, say no, keep those boundaries. They're only as good as you enforce them to be. So that's basically what I was seeing, was a character like the Seven of Swords, completely someone that you could avoid. They were not coming for you. They were looking for easy access. So the whole reason I'm talking about it today is to make sure that you're not giving them that easy access. That's why we do these readings, because they passed me by in the dreams. And that was actually why I was taking the train instead of a car. I'm like, I'm not going to park in this area. Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to do it. So you can always decide a different route. And that's kind of what I was seeing, was rerouting and making sense of all of that. So the spider reminds you of your power to be magnetic and pull things in, also to cut cords with things that are no longer serving you. The Ace of Pentacles, or Magnum Opus, is saying focus on something that really brings you joy or inspiration. There is a timeline, or a deadline, I should say, that's coming up. So you really want to make sure that you're not falling asleep at the wheel. And when it comes to boundaries, just be very sort of firm with those boundaries, okay? If you just welcome, perfect timing. We're going to be taking a look next at the Celtic Cross. Again, as I said earlier, this is for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Let me go ahead now and decide which deck I'm going to use. I'm going to pull the camera down while we do this. And it's so good to see all of you. I appreciate you spending some time with me today. I'm just going to go for the Light Seers deck. This one was on the table earlier, and it feels good to me. All right. So for whoever's not hearing, just look at another device. Everybody else is commenting on what I'm saying, so it's probably just you, D. Thanks for letting me know, but no one else is having issues with it, okay? So just refresh your browser. It's a good time to do that. Everyone else, get a cup of coffee, sit down, let's relax, and let's see what's coming through. I mean, of course, let me know if anyone else can't hear me, but I think it's just the one person today. Wow, some really big cards and movement happening for you. God, it's mostly major arcana, which is interesting. Where there's the 5, there's the 7, so that kind of makes sense. All right. The raccoon is also a little tricky. And there we go. Okay, so let's get started, everybody. We're going to begin with your Catalyst card, and we have the raccoon coming through. And I do like that they are focusing on a positive aspect of this, which is invention. They're also really, you know, if you've ever seen a raccoon trying to get into a garbage can or trying to open a door, they're pretty good at all of that. This is basically saying if there's a will, there's a way. And we even see that here. Decide on what you really want. You have the ingenuity to claim it. Avoid being a trickster and practice integrity. You have many roles and can juggle them well. So there we go with the trickster energy. It came through in a couple of cards here, also in the Destiny cards. So this is what I was seeing with the Seven of Swords. It's in the energy around you. Focus on boundaries. And when you engage with new people that you may not know very well, this is also a chance to just sort of take it slow and do your research and ask a lot of questions. It's always good to be discerning when you get some cards like that. The good news here is it's kind of like you can't outfox the fox. If we get two of the same, you're going to be able to see this. So if you're smart, the other person thinks they're smart, you're both going to be able to see through anything. So don't worry about it, okay? Just be awake, aware, and inquisitive. That's what I would say with this. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the Celtic Cross. This is going to help you through the next 6 to 8 weeks. Let's just take a moment to look at the table in front of us because there are some interesting cards here. So we have the Tower, we have the Devil, we have the Star, and it's kind of interesting. You have to go through these energies to actually get this. So it makes sense that these precede this. And this is the payoff for going through some difficulties. We see expansion here around you and an opportunity. This is kind of like a combination of the Empress and the World all in one. And also that sort of fertile energy that I was picking up on with the magnum opus, something that's kind of ready to be birthed or to be released. There's some surprises, and mostly it's pretty good here. It does look like there's a cyclical change going on where you're not going to engage with people that aren't worth the energy. We'll talk more about that in a second. Let's go to the two center cards. All right, so at the heart of the spread, we have Six of Pentacles. Traditionally, I mean, this is very aligned with Libra. Typically, there are scales in this card, but here we just see people that are trying to evenly exchange energy, which is nice. You even see a little bit of a figure 8 between the two. So it's a time to really create balance. You don't have to give everything to everyone. And in fact, I'm sure many of you have found this sort of paradoxical truth, but when you say no, when you're really discerning, people value your time a little bit more than they did before. It's sort of like the minute they can't have something, then they want it. So don't be afraid to put some limits on things. It shows people that you value your time and they should too. Here's your traditional card. I do like this one because I feel like, again, the scales really apply nicely to Libra. But this is like the close-up of the hands here. You can't give everything to everyone. Make sure that you're saving enough for you. This is especially true for those of you that are caretakers or that have more than one thing that you're trying to focus on. So achieving that balance, saying no. The good news with this, and I believe it's not the only one. We have another Pentacles card, but as your core card, it tells me that with proper boundaries, communication, and just being realistic, you're going to be able to accomplish what you set out to. The time may have to shift a little bit. The shape or form may have to shift, but you can do it. And it's a good card when we're looking at resources. Some of you are ready to change things up. So the Tower is crossing this, which makes it neither upright or reversed. It's just an influence. So what the biggest opportunity for change is this month is how and when you say no, what you're putting your energy into, making sure that you don't lose your balance, your work-life balance, your resources in your life, your energy, all of this stuff, just making sure that it's all being taken care of. If you push too much, then the Tower can also indicate, feeling a little out of sorts. It can be sickness. You just want to take care of yourself, all right? So all those boundaries and realistic expectations are going to make sure that you can sustain the momentum of the star, which is something that we really want to make sure that you can sustain. You are manifesting. So here's your spider energy. High Priestess comes through and she has the capacity to see something, to believe in something, to create something. And she sees beyond the limits of imagination and even what's in front of her. So that's what you really want to be able to do in this moment, is see the next step and then the step beyond that step. I always talk about the High Priestess and the Two of Wands being beautifully matched cards that allow you to really, embrace your power. And I think that's the important thing here. Lean into your creativity and lean into the things that are coming through. You're definitely picking up on some important things in this moment in time. Now, following this, in the recent past, we have the Devil reversed. And this is exactly what we would want and expect of the spider coming through and basically cutting the cords. Sorry, let me take a drink here. Oh, I left it in the other room. I'll get it in a moment. So with this card in reverse, think of, again, a spider who's had its meal for the morning. And, then there's this sort of mess. It has to clean it up. So what the spider is good at doing is cutting the cords. And a Devil card reverse is really about cutting those cords, creating a clearing, and really allowing for that necessary movement, okay? What I love about this Devil card, by the way, is that this is the way that the Devil would appear, something that's appealing, that you know better than sort of connecting with, and you want to trust that too. So she sees through this. Yes, this may seem amazing, but she knows better. So if there's anything in your life where you're like, I'm done with that, or I know how this story is going to end and I'm not going to engage with it, by all means, trust your intuition. If someone in your life tries to basically ask for more than is necessary, whether it's your intellectual property, your time, your energy, that's also some of this raccoon and deceit energy coming through. You see it though. Here's the good news. I said you saw it earlier. Now we can definitely see it. It's going to sort of come up earlier than later. And then you can step away from it. The Devil can also just be limiting thoughts and limiting ideas. So don't limit yourself or your own potential. Allow yourself to explore all the possibilities, okay? Let me grab my water and I'll be right back. And I'll let you guys just look at the table for a second. Okay, so now we have the Hierophant in the crowning position. The crowning card here is reminding you to get organized. The Hierophant is definitely one of the more structured cards in tarot. It's a spiritual card. It's a higher version of this as well. In many decks, it's the High Priest. And what it's really saying is now you're going to put everything into practice, into order, and into sort of momentum here, which I like. I love that we have a young Hierophant. We don't see the traditional hierarchy around him. There are no disciples, there is no leader. He is kind of like all of that. So you're the gatekeeper, and in most modern decks, that's what we see, is a card where you don't need to kind of go through the old systems. In fact, this could be your gatekeeper, and they may only want you to do it their way. This is like my way or the highway, and you're saying, thank you, but no thank you. And you're gonna do it your way. You're going to take the highway. You're going to take that last train and you're going to go in a new direction and you're going to change things up a little bit. Okay. The Star card is in the near future, and the Star card in reverse is still auspicious, but what happens with the reversal of it is sometimes you're muting your light or your energy in order to placate, please, or try to match someone else's expectations. And I really feel like in this moment in time, that's the sort of antithesis of what you want to do. So this is about being yourself. It's about going down your own path if you need to. Some of you may be going down a more entrepreneurial sort of road, or maybe for the first time in a while, you're doing something for yourself. So let's say maybe for those of you that have children, they're in college, or they're now, they have their own jobs or whatever, and it's sort of like, well, now I get to focus on personal development. You may be out of a relationship, or you may be just in this moment where you're thinking, I need to do this for myself. This is the magnum opus card as well. Reconnecting to the soul and doing something that feeds and recharges your soul, your energy. And if people around you love you unconditionally, they're going to accept it. If they conditionally expect certain things like, I'll only love you if, or couldn't you be more like such and such, then that's going to be the end of that. The good news here is, I mean, I feel like you're breaking this. This is a clearing energy. This is cutting the cords. Literally, it's on top of it. This is a boundary card, the Six of Pentacles. Then we have three of the best cards in the major arcana, High Priestess, Hierophant, and Star. So you're pointed in the right direction. It feels like there's a little bit of cleanup to do. And there could be a person entering in that isn't who they seem to be, because that's also what the devil is, a mask. So I really want you to be the intuitive, thoughtful. This is a time to actually think through something new. Like, that's what Libra does best. Look at it from all angles and really do your research. And speaking as someone who has Libra as a sun placement, what I would say that's great about Libra is once you've made your mind up, you are good. It may take you longer than other signs to get there, but you won't look back over your shoulders. And so that's one of the best strengths of Libra, is that once you've made your mind, you've really made your mind up, and it's like, full throttle ahead, which I love. This is the biggest challenge for all of you this month, which could be taking yourself for granted or not sort of advocating for as much support or resources as you need. And it often comes because of a desire to please, to impress, to be accepted, because someone in the past made you feel less than. There could be wounds from the past that are coming through. Five of Pentacles. The card is reversed, so I do love that all of the challenging cards are reversed. Just one of your power cards is reversed, but I quite like Five of Pentacles, Devil, and Five of Swords to be reversed. It means a lessening of it, and it means that you see it. This is one of the best Five of Pentacles cards because right behind her we see this gigantic key, and all she has to do, and I know I say all, but it's a significant thing, but it's heal the inner child and believe in herself. If she believes in herself enough to pick up this key, it's a big key, but there's a door that's waiting. And there is, for this, I would say whatever you can do to help get this going faster, talking to a therapist, talking to a friend, getting a group of people that support you, whatever it takes, because I want you to make that connecting train. I want you to see where that's going next. And this is what's holding you back. A fear of movement, like I'm not ready, or it's not done. It's not good enough if it's a project, or I'm not good enough if you're applying for something, or I'm not worthy of if it's money or a relationship or anything of that sort. And the universe is coming through and saying, that's baloney. Actually, you are worth it. You can do it. It is ready. It will be okay, but you have to accept it. You have to take that key, open the door, and believe it. And that's the challenge. And I can't help you with that, but I can tell you that that's a focal point for some of you. Now, if you're in a good place and you're like, Nicholas, I have no problems with self-confidence, then I'll say, good for you, but here's what I see. So for those of you that are really confident, life is good, what the challenge is making sure that you negotiate what you're worth on certain things. This is someone that may try to get something from you for cheap, or again, just trying to get less, more for less. So we want to make sure that you're doing your homework, and you're also looking at the very fine lines of any contract to make sure that you understand what's going on. It's also just a control thing. So energetically in relationships right now, one of the things that's coming through is you want to be the boss, and someone else wants you to listen to them. So it's about redefining authority figures and all of that jazz in your life right now. And you're the grown-up now too. Let me see if I can find it quickly, but in the traditional Five of Pentacles, we'll see two wounded people, both needing help, and neither really help one another. And so in this one, you can see it even in this illustration, it's saying you have to focus on empowering and helping yourself. And if you have the ability, then you can help other people. But that other person isn't worth the time and energy that it takes to maybe get them to pay attention to you. If they didn't see your worth then, or they don't see your worth now, when will they? And is it even worth it, So here's your traditional card. And you can really see that both, like literally, this person has crutches, this one probably dealing with something emotional. Neither is looking at each other. Neither is going into the shelter and also asking for help. So there's wounded people that are kind of like focused on themselves and can't help each other. So there might have been someone around you that you really want or need to kind of pay attention, like Apollo. But, oh, buddy. But sometimes they're busy. But we always take time out for the people that we love here on this channel. He needs a haircut, but he's kind of cute when he's fluffy like this. It's okay, buddy. Let's bring him a little closer. What I find out sometimes is he just ends up moving his bed right by me, and that's what this whole sort of migration is about. So now he's right by me and he's fine. All right, anyway, take some time, spend some time with your inner child and also with children in your life or little puppies in your life. It helps you. It takes you right back into, yeah, he's part terrier, by the way. Like, he's Lhasa Apso, Yorkie, and terrier. He's still doing it. And it's just a behavioral pattern, and he does it until he's happy, and then he sleeps for like 2 hours. Anyway, let's get back into the reading here. What I love about this is as we look in your environment, we have the Empress card. This is what it's all about. So I do feel like many of you are going to be more than able and more than ready to take on this sort of wound from the past or this cycle from the present. And this is saying, I can do it, I will do it, I am ready, this is happening. So this is a birthing moment. And that's really what should be hopefully happening for many of you by the end of June. Something should be ready to come into fruition. You should see massive progress on something, or you should just feel this sense like, I really feel like I've got my feet on the ground, okay? Some of you might be seeing a new baby coming into your life. It's in the environment, so it could be news of pregnancy or a birthing or a new project, okay? So all of those are auspicious, and I love it. And it's one of the best cards to come through in the major arcana as well. All right, focusing here on hope spheres, opportunities. This is the thing that could get in the way for some of you. And it's basically, just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it can't happen. And also, if you need clarity on something, just ask for help or support. Two of Swords is just basically stagnation or a stalemate due to the fact that you don't know. You can always use cards for this too. You can ask for, you can ask for support or advice. Ultimately, I like to remind people on the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles, it's basically like you're just choosing between two aces. And sometimes the Two of Swords or the Two of Pentacles are two appealing choices, and it's hard to decide. It's even harder with the Two of Swords than the Two of Pentacles. At least with the Two of Pentacles, you can see it. The Two of Swords, you're often dealing with hypotheticals or unknowns. So you might be thinking like, well, should I take this job or this? And you still don't know like all of the landscape, right? So at the end of the day, or should I date this person or this? You really just have to kind of like go into the heart and think, all right, I feel more of a connection in this direction. We're going that direction. And don't beat yourself up. When it's Two of Swords, the worst thing that could happen is nothing. So you have to pick a direction and then trust your own navigation as you move forward, all right? This is also something that we want to look at and help you get through. We have the Five of Swords here. Wherever there's the 5, there's typically the 7. One thing that I like to remind people of with the Five of Swords is it's typically not worth the energy. It's not worth the breath and the vibration of the vocal cords that it takes to talk to someone with Five of Swords tendencies. This is what it feels like. I love how they got this. This person in the background is like, me, 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 me. They're trying to get attention, and you can just tell that this person is done. Not only that, but there's still someone else over here squawking in their ear, and it's just sort of, it's a lot to deal with, right? And so this is saying, if there's someone who constantly is complaining, consistently focuses on negative, critical, or unhelpful dialogue, it's just time to cut that cord. This is possibly one of these energies. The Five of Swords can also be, we can have like Temperance or the High Priestess here, and then we can have the Five of Swords here. So you have guidance and patience here, but then this guy comes in and basically won't let you win. You can't catch a break from yourself sometimes too. So this is also just allowing yourself to make a mistake, not beating yourself up, because you're going to be okay. And this is basically just looking at the, the overarching sort of, well, what's it all about? Like nobody expects perfection. And if they do, It's unrealistic. It's just doing the best that you can in any given moment. All right. Let's go ahead and expand this to health, wealth, love, and destiny. In this expanded forecast, each one comprises different categories of your life. A reminder as we go through each, if you need financial advice, if you need medical advice or psychological advice, go to the appropriate professional. This is a place to look at energy, and I'm just empowering you to see the paths in front of you. For health and well-being, here's what we've got. The Lion, which I would immediately connect with the Strength card. What's cool about this one is nobody is controlling the Lion. Typically in the Strength card, we have a divine feminine energy that's trying to, sometimes I see it as almost like a ventriloquist. It's almost like she's pushing the energy of communication, or she's trying to show that she's in charge. There's no need to do that anymore because you already have the divine feminine energy here. So now for some of you, it's just about making peace and connecting with it. This is very much just like a piece together Strength card, if you will, but they're both at peace. Neither of them needs to prove who they are. So that's message number one when it comes to core relationships and just your life in general. Even though we're looking at health, you know who you are. Don't force yourself to do something. Don't force someone else. Don't throw your words in someone else's mouth, and don't allow them to do the same. This is time to really focus on you, your happiness, your health, your body. Focus on, I would say right now, it's a really good time for physical fitness, physical activity. The Strength card indicates that, you know, the stronger this vessel is, the sort of more you can channel. And we see this High Priestess being right in the channel of spirit. So these two cards are also working together. Strong body, strong mind. All right, let's specifically look at some of the cards with respect to health. So if I'm going to get the Devil, I want it in the past, and I'd like to see it reversed as it is here. And what we have with this is basically an understanding that I'm not going to do X, Y, or Z anymore. So you're stepping away from something. It can be a little chaotic when you first step away from something. This could be a relationship, like a breakup. This could be stopping drinking or smoking or anything that isn't good for your body. And it takes time to create a new habit and structure in your life. So don't just pull the rug out. Have a support net beneath you so that you can keep this new habit that you're trying to create and let go of the old one that you want to break. So I like what we see with respect to that. I see some of you might be a little bit uncertain or uncomfortable in the spotlight. So the star this is the spotlight. This is self-confidence. Self-worth equals net worth. So if you can work on that self-confidence, you can really step into the expanding energy of this Empress/World card that's right here. It may be hard to confront someone. I am picking up on relationship energy, but it's emotional, therefore it affects your body. So lean on support. She's in your environment. She could be teacher, friend, parent. They can help you through this situation here as well. The good news is the trickiest stuff looks like you already know what it is. It's not coming. It's more existing, and this is a call to action to take care of it. If there's something that you're ignoring that you're trying to sweep under the rug, don't. The Two of Swords is basically, it's the antithesis of this. You want to open your eyes and communicate about whatever it is, ask some questions. And those are your main messages with respect to health. So I think it's pretty good. We're going to move on to wealth. Whether you're a student, whether you're employed or retired, this is basically showing opportunities and energetic investments in your life. We'll look at it in a more broader context. All right, so when we're looking at wealth, we have the Divine Physician, Archangel Raphael. This is where, for some of you, there's going to be healing on the emotional and internal sort of self that actually helps you in your career and money. It also says, thank you, Raphael, for shining your divine light upon my healthy body. So I talked about focusing on physical fitness. We talked about being in the spotlight. All of this is coming together. The stronger you are, the more you can engage in all of this stuff. All right, so for wealth, let's see what's going on here. Contracts that don't serve you, it's time to just step away from them if you haven't signed them, or there may be a complete rewrite necessary for something that you don't like. Highlight it, redline it, circle it, and say, no, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not doing that. Get a really good lawyer, advocate on your side to be discerning on this. And if it doesn't gel with you, you don't have to do it. I think that some people may be really drawn to your potential, and that's why you want to protect things like intellectual property and finances. And when I saw people kind of peering in on the periphery, it could also be that they see something that you don't see and they want to try to lock it down so that no one else can see that too. So when it comes to contracts for a job or something of that nature, just make sure you're getting paid what you need. You're not committing to a non-competitive clause. You're not giving up anything like intellectual property, all of that jazz. If you're a musician, that you have the rights to your masters, et cetera, et cetera. For those of you that are students, make sure that you're doing the path that calls to you, not the path that your parents wanted. For those of you that are retired, life is not over. It's a new page. It's just beginning. It's kind of like today's card. If you watch my dailies, which I hope you do. So I'm reading on May 15th, the death card came through. And I mentioned that death comprises 3 different aspects, at least. It's an end, death. It's a new beginning, rebirth. It's also change or transformation. And so really what I see going on for some of you is the movement. You already are going through the movement of transformation. We don't have it here, but we might as well. So moving through that change and opening up to the potential. Yeah, it's a little bit unknown, but I like what I see and I like where it's headed. So trust yourself and focus on taking opportunities that are expanding, not limiting. Okay. This is a new chapter, a new beginning, and you don't want to underestimate your capacity. Shine a light on things if you don't understand them or you don't agree with them or you need some more insight. All right, we're going to focus now on love and relationships. Love and relationships also multi-part. As I look at the first piece, we're going to look at the whole spectrum, romantic, platonic, and friends and family. And let's see what's coming through. So I've been talking a lot about support. And we have an ascended master here, I think, who is coming through with that energy of support. Sometimes all you have to do is ask. It's harder to do that than it seems, right? It's harder to admit that you might need some sort of, advice or insight, or you don't know everything. But good leaders are able to do this. And you're going to be able to do this in this moment as well. All right, let's focus now on 3 different aspects of relationships. We're going to look at those that are in a relationship, single and happy. I'm sorry, in a relationship, single and looking, or single and happy. For those already partnered up, in the best case scenario, there's been a lot of change. You could newly be in a relationship. You may be dealing with move, loss, or a birth, definitely. Something significant that's shifting. What's good is it feels like the 2 of you understand each other, and it feels like one of you is on the rise. Don't let that get in the way of the partnership, because where there's 1 star, there's 2. So, you're like energies. It just sometimes one of you might be going through more of a change than the other. And that's the main message here, is to be the support system for the other person, even if things aren't going exactly the way that you want, because eventually it turns around and it's your time. If it's your time to shine, then make sure that you're supportive and understanding of your partner who may be going through some challenges. Now, all of that being said, some of you might be ready to step into independence. This is independence. This is something coming to a close. So we either see a relationship that's going through some trials that make it stronger, or one that doesn't pass the test because there's a lack of communication or honesty. You need to be communicative and honest for this to really work. So Libra, that typically is in your strength area, but if the other partner isn't receptive to that, rather, it could be a little challenging. The main thing here is thank you, gratitude, seeing one another. It's good for both of you to say, I see you, I honor you, I appreciate you, because that's not happening with this. Okay. Changing this to those that are looking for love. I really feel like this is a time where you should be focusing on yourself. Contrary to like 99% of the readers, and it's part of the reason that maybe there's, I'm not doing sort of like the catchy headlines on he's coming back or she's coming back. I'm going to say for you, you're exactly where you need to be. Take some time to let the dust settle. Take some time to clean up your environment, your habits, your health. Focus on, organizing your life and your environment. Allow for some growth in, I think for many of you, it's going to be in personal growth and finances. And this is going to be, it's kind of the same message for those that are single and looking and single and happy. The time isn't right, so it's good to be with yourself for a little bit. How long, you might ask? Not for long. If you're single and looking rather than single and happy, the person comes in when you least expect it. Just finish up this stuff first. Get everything organized, focus on yourself, and before you know it, this person will come in. We have Empress energy and star energy, so it's someone who really wants you to be your best too. Little bit of healing, a little bit of financial stuff to do too. So clean up the finances first and foremost, clean up the health secondly, and once all that's good, then just go about regular day-to-day life and this person should connect with you naturally. Okay, for those that are single and happy, everything that I said is true here. I feel like it's a really good time to get organized. Some of you might decide to teach or go back to school. Some of you might be starting your own business or just enjoying this free, independent time. Good for you. There's some happy surprises on the horizon, and you don't have time to trifle with people that can't listen or can't take accountability, and that's true for everybody. All right? Overall, pretty good messages. Destiny card. You already know it. I talked about it multiple times. I saw it in my dreams, and now I see it here. Just be honest with yourself and honest with others and accept nothing less than that. Transparency is key. El Diablo can go somewhere else. You don't have time for it right now. You really don't. So don't limit yourself. Don't let others' fears or anxieties or projections get in the way of your own vision of what's possible. And as long as you do that, I think you're going to be in a really good space, okay? The last thing, and it's kind of a reality check for some of you, is just to be honest with yourself. Sometimes we try to fool ourselves and it doesn't work. So you know what you want, you know what you don't want, trust in that, lean into that, and you won't be led astray. All right, now let's focus on sun, rising, and moon messages and see what's coming through. And again, so this will be for those of you that are specifically watching for Libra sun, Libra moon, and Libra rising as well. So someone was like, what do you mean with this? I'm like, it's for people that are cross-watching, basically. All right, so I do it in this order: sun, rising, moon. Libra sun, rising, and moon. For Libra sun, we have the Lovers. So the main thing here is very magnetic energy. You don't have to be trying to find someone, but if you are, this actually is auspicious and it would be connected to this. And everything that I said a few minutes ago holds true, which is just really be living your best life possible. Focus on being healthy, happy, and stable physically and financially, and this person will just step in. It's not about going out and chasing this person down. Let them find you. The thing that you really want to focus on with this is loving who you are, loving what you're doing, and then you attract people that love it too. It's a self sort of perpetuating thing. In existing relationships, this is actually pretty auspicious. It means that eye-to-eye, face-to-face, heart-to-heart communication is key. Really make sure if you can do that this month, that you do that, because your power comes not just in your words or your delivery, but also your presence. So it's important to have those face-to-face conversations if possible. All right, very good card, very beautiful message for sun sign. All right, for Libra rising, this is a time to clean up the finances, to see some growth and movement, also to heal the body. By the way, we neglected to talk about this because it's a non-traditional illustration, but the Five of Pentacles can be issues with your feet, your ankles, your knees, lower part of your legs, basically, extremities there. So if there's anything going on there, obviously reach out to a professional, get some help. But what we see here is healing happening. And with money, we see growth. It takes time. A lot of times the person is impatient, but I like that he's not. He's basically trying to take his time and nurture and take care of something rather than push it, you know, like Jack and the Beanstalk, so it's growing overnight. So no shortcuts. That's the main thing here. Know your limits. I recently had a minor injury that was not bad, but it was because someone was pushing me past my comfort zone. Know your limits. When it comes to spending, when it comes to spending time, when it comes to anything in your life. You know your body, and you know your money, and you know your life the best. And I think that's everything that I have to say for the rising or ascendant. All right, moving on to moon, we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Lots of pentacles, lots of energy around growth and money this month. So for the moon, Libra moon, many of you are challenged with releasing something. You think perhaps that this is as good as it gets, or if you let go of this, that there may be nothing that comes in its place. What if this was foundational? What if there's nothing but upgrades on the horizon? The devil, I always say this when I see this, but the devil you know is still a devil. So if you're sticking with something and it doesn't make you happy and you're just doing it and you even use that phrase, stop. It's time to cut the ties, create a firmer foundation, rebuild, and ask for more if you're not getting what you need. And this is figurative, and of course, if it's a job, you want to have a safety net in place. If it's a relationship, you also want to have a plan B so that you can take care of yourself and have an exit strategy. But for some of you, it's time to work on either advocating for more or planning another route instead of this. Four of Pentacles is not enough. It's far less than enough. It's foundational. It's a beginning, but it's not where you need to land. So in a negotiation, in a relationship, in a job, it needs to improve. In a negotiation, it's a lowball sort of negotiation. You can say, I think we need to re-examine our conversation. This is off by a substantial amount. And so you would want to reset the expectations with that and let them know that it's not going to be a back and like, give me your best and final, or here's where we really should be. So that's my thoughts on that. With the Four of Pentacles, it can also be someone who has a hard time opening up to you. Or it can be a place where there's a lot of secrets because they want to kind of keep that. Like if you're trying to get trained for a job and people won't show you how to do it. I've had this before a long time ago. Like even when I was learning to be a waiter in a restaurant, someone wouldn't show me all of the ins and outs. And I'm like, we're all working together. Like, what am I supposed to do? Show me my station. Show me this. So sometimes people are territorial for no reason. So if you're getting that energy, it's also kind of like a red flag, and it's probably time to move in a different direction. Okay. All right. So let me see if there is anything else that we need to focus on. No, I think we're ready now for the next portion of the reading. We're going to be taking a look now at the meditation. And before we get into the meditation and the final card, if you wouldn't mind, please give me a like and subscribe. If you want to get in touch and know what new sort of things are coming through, follow me on social media. It's Nicholas Ashbaugh everywhere. Just make sure that there are no punctuation changes. And of course, if someone tries to offer you something in a direct message or in comments, you know that's not me. I don't do that. I don't offer private readings either. Thank you in advance to anybody that gave back today. I'll make sure to say thank you at the end. Stickers and memberships. I see someone gifted some today, so thank you for that. That also really helps with channel growth. All right, let's focus now on the meditation for today. For today, I would love for us to kind of embrace that star energy. And I know not everyone likes the spider web, so we won't necessarily use that. We're going to engage with this energy of the star. I like that she's kind of connecting to the constellation above. So close your eyes if you will. Take a couple of deep breaths. Just sit at ease with your body and know in this space, in this moment, you are safe, you are supported, and see your heart connecting to the stars above. Imagine that you could find your higher self shining up there in the sky and say, got it. And now see this sort of ribbon of light coming through to your body. Take a deep breath and feel that mind, body, and spirit, you're receiving upgrades and recharging energy so that if there was any part of you that feels depleted, you now know how to fix that. If there's anything where you've been struggling or wishing that you had clarity, the clarity is now coming through crystal clear. And now as you look up at the stars above you, you realize just how vast the universe is, and you see that opportunity awaits. Opportunity is knocking. Imagine, if you will, also that you could just lay down on the ground and just look at the stars above you. And as you do that, you start to see them come closer to you. It's almost like the sky is moving towards you, and you're getting closer and closer to that higher version of yourself until it's almost face to face. As we do the meditation here, I'd like you to just take a moment to realize how worthy, how beautiful, and how powerful you are just as you are. See yourself as your angels, guides, and higher self does, full of value, full of potential. Okay? Let's play the singing bowl, and then I'll take a look at your final card in just a moment. Seeing now that the sun is rising in the horizon, a new day is dawning. Feel your mind, body, and spirit realign with your physical body. And imagine now that there's a clear path in front of you, a path of opportunity, a path that makes you feel secure and ready for this new day. And again, now this understanding of value, worth, and potential. Take another deep inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, gently open your eyes, bringing your attention now to the final question that you've been keeping for me here until this last portion. And now just think about whatever it is that you'd like some clarity on. We'll shuffle the cards and see what comes through. All right, we have the Hanged Man in reverse. There are a couple things that I would say with this. First and foremost, don't rush. You are where you need to be in this moment in time, even if it feels like others are trying to get you to make more progress. The only thing that I would say it's important here is if you're holding yourself back from doing something where you're ready, but you're just afraid, or, we talked about that connecting flight or that connecting train. That's the only thing where I would say it's time to move. But when it comes to just life in general and you feel maybe pressure from someone else and you're happy, this card is saying just drink in the moment a moment longer. The Hanged Man is here to make sure that you've learned the lesson before you step into the next thing. An example of this, by the way, it almost feels like she had shackles here and she's cut them free, which I love. An example here is just like moving from one bad relationship to another or one not so great job to another. You want to learn like, wait, how did I get... What didn't I like about that? What element of that is now reappearing? How can I make sure that this isn't? So the Hanged Man needs to slow down and read the signs before moving, or read the runes as it were, okay? But the good news is it does feel like a cycle is on its way out. And I like that. And this is basically also saying that sometimes when one thing doesn't work or takes a little bit longer, you may also see something that you missed. So for those of you that have ever gotten an extension on a deadline and you're like, oh, thank God, I forgot this, or there's a typo here. Sometimes those delays are good. Even if you missed the train and you watch this and you're like, well, now what? Well, for some of you that was okay because there'll be another thing. You are the spider this month. You have the capacity to weave and create new things. So wherever you're at right now, it's where you need to be. Just learn how you got there before taking the next step. Informed movement. That's really what makes the High Priestess so powerful, is informed movement. Intention is key, all right? Thank you everybody for showing up today. It's always a pleasure and an honor to read for every sign. I always love reading for Libra. So let me just take a moment here to say thanks to everyone. I saw that we got some gifts today. So before I even go anywhere, thank you, Kathy, for gifting memberships. That's so cool when people do that. It allows new people to kind of see what that's like. I can see right here, just kind of looking in the chat, that we have 2 people that gave back, Nico and Michelle. Thanks, guys. I think that's everything because it was a short chat here, but I'll double check and make sure that I didn't miss anything. While I'm doing that, just a quick reminder, if you ever need information about me or what I'm doing, you can always go to my website. Again, you can follow me on social as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. I'm here every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I'll put those Thursday, Friday times up so you can remember those. And basically Monday, Thursday, Friday, I do the monthly readings. Every Sunday, I do a 7-day forecast. Check it out if you haven't already. I also do daily card reads, so I'm a busy guy, as you can tell. There's one other person that looks like that probably joined earlier today. So Shannon, thank you also for joining. Angela, Jennifer, and I think that's everyone. So a few people joined before I got started, and I think I hit everyone on the supers as well. So thanks, guys, for being a part of today's presentation. I do appreciate it. Lulia, thank you for that as well. I just saw that. All right, everybody. And Lone Wolf, cool name. Thank you so much for your love, support, your time, and energy. Wishing you all the best as you navigate the changes and opportunities ahead. I like that we got the star in the near future. That means that there'll be some good surprises for you. All right, keep me posted in the comments below. And in the meantime, wishing you all the best. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks.